8 black trucks crash through the gate. 40 armed men surround the property. The rancher sits calmly in his rocking chair, sipping coffee. The cartel commander aims his rifle directly at the old man's head and demands 50,000 pesos monthly. The rancher's response changes everything. What happens in the next 90 minutes will shift the balance of power in this region forever. This is the true story of how a 68-year-old man defended his land against one of the most dangerous criminal organizations in Mexico, using nothing but his mind and 37 years of military experience. It's 11:43 p.m. on Saturday, September 14, 2024. The engines of 8 pickup trucks roar through the night as they barrel through the main gate of Rancho San Miguel in Tepatitlan, Jalisco. 40 operatives armed with automatic rifles jump out, expecting to find an ordinary cattle ranch. What they don't know is that the owner, a 68-year-old man wearing a weathered cowboy hat and dusty boots, is retired General Augusto Villarreal Mora, the military officer who dismantled 17 cartel cells between 1998 and 2015. The air smells of wet earth, burned diesel, and fresh gunpowder. The headlights illuminate the main house, a 120-year-old structure made of adobe and stone with 2 levels, wooden windows, and a wide corridor decorated with bougainvillea planters. Behind the house stand the stables, the barn, an old well, and 45 hectares of pastureland where 200 head of cattle graze. It's a working ranch, honest, nothing flashy, exactly how Augusto Villarreal wanted it. The lead operative, a 35-year-old man known as El Coyote, steps out of the first truck with an AR-15 in his hands. He has tattoos on his neck, a scar over his left eyebrow, a tactical vest, and the confidence of someone who has never failed a mission. His 39 men deploy in military formation, surrounding the house, blocking the exits, shutting off the engines. The silence that follows is thick, threatening. Augusto Villarreal is sitting in his wooden rocking chair on the corridor of the house. He's 68 years old, completely white hair, face weathered by decades of sun, large hands calloused from work. He's wearing a denim shirt, Wrangler jeans, work boots, and his gray cowboy hat that he's worn for 30 years. Next to him on a small metal table sits a steaming cup of coffee and an old radio tuned to a country station. He looks like just another rancher, one of thousands in Jalisco. Nobody would imagine who he was. El Coyote walks toward the corridor with slow, calculated steps. 10 operatives follow him. The other 30 maintain positions around the property. The commander stops 5 meters from Augusto, points his rifle directly at the old man's head. "Good evening, sir," El Coyote says with an almost polite tone. "I apologize for the hour, but we've come to discuss business." Augusto doesn't get up from his rocking chair. He shows no fear. He takes a sip of coffee with deliberate movements as if he has all the time in the world. "I don't have business with you," he responds with a hoarse, calm voice. "This is a cattle ranch, honest work." El Coyote smiles. It's a cold smile, without humor. "Every business in this region is our business, sir. This ranch now pays a fee. 50,000 pesos monthly. First payment due in 1 week." Augusto places his cup on the table. He looks directly into the cartel commander's eyes. He doesn't blink. "I'm not paying a single peso." The silence that follows is absolute. The operatives glance at each other. Nobody tells them no. Especially not an old man alone on an isolated ranch 15 kilometers from the nearest town. El Coyote takes 3 steps forward. Now he's 2 meters from Augusto. "Sir, I don't think you understand the situation. We are 40 armed men. You are alone. Your ranch can disappear tonight. Your cattle can be found dead at dawn. You might not see the sunrise." Augusto slowly rises from his rocking chair. His knees crack, his back is bent from years of physical labor, he appears vulnerable, fragile, defeated beforehand. "You are 40, Augusto says with the same calm. "I am alone." "That's true." El Coyote relaxes his posture. He believes the old man finally understood. "But before you decide what to do with me," Augusto continues, "you should know who I am. If you want to know how this ends, hit that subscribe button right now. This story gets even more intense, and you won't want to miss what happens next. Drop a like if you're already hooked, and let's continue." El Coyote frowns. There's something in the old man's voice that doesn't fit. A certainty, a total absence of fear that only comes from experience, from having been in worse situations and having survived. "Who are you, sir?" Augusto walks slowly to the edge of the corridor, points toward the dark mountains surrounding the ranch. "My full name is Augusto Villarreal Mora. I served in the Mexican army for 37 years. I retired 9 years ago with the rank of Division General. Between 1998 and 2015, I commanded special operations against narcotics trafficking in Jalisco, Michoacán, and Colima. I dismantled 17 cells from various criminal organizations. I personally captured 43 high-level operators. I eliminated 12 in direct confrontations. The operatives exchange nervous glances. El Coyote keeps his rifle aimed, but his finger is no longer on the trigger. Augusto continues. The ranch you're invading isn't just a cattle ranch. It's my retirement. It's where I came to live in peace after almost 4 decades fighting people like you. I bought these 45 hectares with my military pension. I built the stables with my own hands. I raised this cattle from calves. This land is mine legally, honestly, and I'm not going to let criminals take it from me. El Coyote lowers his rifle slightly. If what you say is true, General, then you know how this works. You know that we control this region. You know that one man, even a retired military officer, cannot stand against 40 operatives. Augusto returns to his rocking chair, sits down slowly, takes another sip of coffee. You're right about something. One man cannot stand against 40. That's why I'm not alone. El Coyote tenses. His men raise their weapons. They look around expecting an ambush. Where are your men, General? Augusto points toward the stables, the barn, the house. I don't have men here. I have something better. I have preparation, I have experience, I have 37 years of military training, and I have something you don't have. What? I know every inch of this ranch. I know exactly where you're standing. I know how many seconds it would take you to reach cover if a firefight starts. I know you have 3 trucks blocking the main gate, 2 watching the back road, 1 on each flank of the house. I know you left 2 men in each vehicle as support. I know the rest are here with me. Basic tactical formation, predictable. El Coyote studies the old man with new eyes. There's something here he didn't calculate, an unexpected variable. I also know, Augusto continues, that if I decide to defend myself, several of you won't leave this ranch alive. Maybe none of you. One of the operatives, a nervous 22-year-old, speaks for the first time. Boss, I don't like this. If this old man was a general, if he commanded operations against us. El Coyote interrupts him with a sharp gesture. Shut up. He's an old man. It doesn't matter who he was 20 years ago. 9 years, Augusto corrects. I retired 9 years ago, and muscle memory doesn't disappear. Training isn't forgotten. Experience doesn't expire. To understand why Augusto Villarreal speaks with such certainty, we need to go back 47 years. Augusto is 21 years old. He grows up on a ranch similar to this one, 80 kilometers north in Arandas. His father is a rancher, his mother an elementary school teacher. Augusto is the oldest of 5 siblings. The family is poor but hardworking. Solid values, discipline, respect. At 18, Augusto sees an army recruitment in the plaza of Arandas. The soldiers are looking for young men for basic training. Augusto enlists, not out of patriotic vocation, but economic necessity. He needs to help his family. Basic training lasts 6 months. Augusto stands out immediately. Perfect marksmanship, superior endurance, natural leadership. At 19, his superiors recommend him for special forces. At 21, he's in the Airmobile Special Forces Group, the elite of the Mexican army. For the next 15 years, Augusto serves in anti-narcotics operations, counterinsurgency, national security. He sees real combat. He learns to survive. He rises through merit. Captain at 28. Major at 33. Lieutenant Colonel at 38. Augusto is 42 years old with the rank of colonel when the Mexican government declares total war on narcotics trafficking. Augusto is assigned to Jalisco. His mission: dismantle operational cells of emerging cartels. For the next 17 years, Augusto Villarreal becomes a legend. The traffickers know him as the Hawk for his ability to locate impossible targets. He captures 43 high-level operators. He dismantles 17 complete cells. Each operation is surgical, precise, devastating. But the cost is high. Augusto survives 3 assassination attempts. He loses friends in ambushes. He watches soldiers under his command die. His wife, Maria Elena, leaves him in 2007 because she can't bear the constant fear of becoming a widow. His 2 children grow up practically without a father. Augusto is 59 years old. He has given everything to the army. He has sacrificed his family, his health, his peace of mind. When they offer him promotion to division general and a 5-year service extension, he says no. He requests voluntary retirement. His superiors try to convince him. He's too valuable, too effective. But Augusto is tired.
He wants peace.
He wants to build something instead of destroying. He wants to live without fear that an operative will ambush him on the way home. They grant him retirement with honors, a medal for military merit, full pension, national recognition. But what Augusto values most is the freedom to disappear. He buys Rancho San Miguel with his savings. 45 hectares in Tepatitlan, far from big cities, good land for cattle, well water, an old but solid house. Exactly what he needs. For 9 years he lives quietly. He rebuilds his life, works with his hands, raises cattle, sells milk and meat. The neighbors know him as Don Augusto, the quiet rancher who came from Arandas. Nobody knows who he was.
Nobody asks.
In the Mexican countryside, there are things it's better not to know. But Augusto never completely let his guard down. An elite military officer with 37 years of service doesn't forget the basic lessons. Always have an escape plan. Always know your terrain. Always prepare for the worst. That's why Rancho San Miguel isn't what it seems. El Coyote makes a signal. 4 operatives surround Augusto's rocking chair.
Weapons aimed.
Fingers on triggers.
Enough talk, General.
Either pay or we burn the ranch with you inside. Augusto finishes his coffee, places the cup on the table with a slow, deliberate movement. Before you decide, let me show you something. He gets up, walks toward the main door of the house. The operatives follow him, aiming at him. El Coyote maintains a distance of 3 meters.
Professional, cautious.
Augusto opens the door, turns on the light in the living room.
It's a simple room.
Old sofa, wooden table, photographs on the walls. But what catches attention is on the back wall.
A glass display case.
Inside are 14 military medals, 3 with decorations for valor, a framed diploma from the Special Forces School, and a large photograph. Augusto Villarreal in dress uniform, younger, stronger, surrounded by 50 soldiers in formation. At the bottom of the photo it says, Operation Scorpion, Michoacán, 2003. 7 targets captured, 0 casualties. El Coyote approaches the display case, reads each medal. His expression changes from arrogance to something resembling respect or fear. This doesn't change anything, he says finally.
You were military.
Now you're an old rancher. The past doesn't protect you. Augusto closes the living room door, returns to the corridor.
You're right.
The past doesn't protect me.
But preparation does.
He points toward the roof of the house. See those wooden beams? I installed cameras 6 years ago. They cover 360 degrees of the ranch. Everything recorded, transmitted live to a secure server. If you eliminate me tonight, you have 40 faces on high-definition video. License plates, voices, everything. El Coyote looks up. He doesn't see obvious cameras, but he doesn't rule them out either. Additionally, Augusto continues, I have contacts. Active generals, zone commanders, special prosecutors, people who owe me favors from 20 years of joint operations. If I disappear, if this ranch is found burned at dawn, 200 soldiers will descend on this region within 24 hours, and they won't stop until they find every one of you. One of the operatives, the nervous 22-year-old, lowers his weapon slightly.
Boss, this is wrong. We should leave.
El Coyote hits him with the barrel of his rifle in the stomach. The young man falls to his knees, coughing. Nobody leaves until I say so. Augusto observes the scene without intervening. He recognizes the dynamic. Insecure commander using violence to maintain control. Young, inexperienced, scared troops. Exactly the type of cell he used to dismantle 10 years ago. I have a proposal, Augusto says. An alternative that benefits us all. El Coyote looks at him with distrust. What proposal? You leave now. You report to your boss that this ranch belongs to a retired general, that attacking here brings more problems than benefits. I don't report the invasion, I don't activate my contacts. Everyone stays alive. Everyone keeps working.
And the fee?
There is no fee. This ranch stays outside your territory.
Neutral zone.
El Coyote laughs without humor. You don't decide what is our territory.
I don't decide.
I negotiate. There's a difference. The cartel commander walks in circles, thinks, calculates. He knows there's something strange here. A 68-year-old man too confident, too prepared. At that moment, the old radio on the table emits loud static.
Then a voice.
Augusto, everything okay over there?
I heard engines.
It's Don Facundo, the neighbor from the adjacent ranch. 72 years old, ex-military too, Augusto's companion in 3 operations during the 90s. Augusto takes the radio. Everything's fine, compadre. Just unexpected visitors.
Do you need help?
El Coyote signals to cut communication.
Augusto ignores the signal.
Not yet, but stay alert.
Understood. I'm ready.
Augusto hangs up the radio.
He looks at El Coyote.
Don Facundo was also military. He has 2 sons currently serving. One in special forces, another in military intelligence. If I don't answer his next call in 15 minutes, he calls his sons and this escalates. The young operative on the ground speaks between coughs.
Boss, please, this is a trap. We should leave.
Another operative, older, around 40 with scars on his arms, approaches El Coyote.
The kid's right. This doesn't smell right.
We came for a simple ranch. We found a retired general with contacts, cameras, military neighbors.
Too prepared.
El Coyote grips his rifle with frustration. He knows he's lost control of the situation. He came expecting to intimidate a defenseless old man. He found an adversary who surpasses him in experience and preparation. Last offer, General. 25,000 monthly. Half of what we asked.
Final. Augusto shakes his head.
0 pesos, and you leave in 5 minutes, or I activate full protocol. Calls to the prosecutor's office, calls to the military zone. Formal complaints with video as evidence.
You choose.
The silence that follows is dense. 40 armed men against an old man in a rocking chair. But the old man has something they don't have. Legitimacy, contacts, history, preparation. El Coyote finally lowers his rifle. This isn't over, General.
I hope it is. For your sake.
The cartel commander signals. His men retreat. They walk toward the trucks.
Engines start.
Lights illuminate the ranch one last time. Before getting into his vehicle, El Coyote turns around. Do you really have cameras? Do you really have contacts ready to act? Augusto smiles for the first time all night. Do you really want to find out? The 8 trucks leave Rancho San Miguel. Dust and silence remain behind. Augusto sits again in his rocking chair, takes out his cell phone, dials a number.
Facundo, they're gone.
Are you sure you're okay?
Yes, compadre.
Thanks for the radio. Do you really have cameras and contacts ready? Augusto looks at the empty beams of the ceiling.
He smiles.
I have 3 old cameras that haven't worked for 2 years, and my military contacts are in bureaucratic desks far from operations. But they didn't need to know that. Don Facundo laughs on the other end. You're still the same Augusto. Pure bluff and psychology. 37 years of service teach you that war is 20% weapons and 80% mind.
They hang up.
Augusto finishes his cold coffee, looks at the stars above the dark mountains. He knows this isn't over. El Coyote will report to his superiors. They'll investigate, verify his story, and then decide if it's worth coming back. Augusto enters the house, locks the door, goes to his bedroom, opens the closet. Behind old clothes is a metal box. Inside is a Beretta 92. A farewell gift from the army.
Completely legal.
200 bullets. Military documents.
Emergency contact list. He checks the weapon. Functional. Loaded, ready.
He returns to the living room.
Sits on the sofa. Doesn't sleep that night.
Just waits. Before we continue with what happens next, make sure you're subscribed to this channel. The story takes an even darker turn, and you need to see how Augusto handles what's coming. Hit that like button and share this with someone who needs to hear this story. Now let's get back to it. 3 days later, Tuesday afternoon, Augusto is repairing a fence on the north end of his ranch. Strong sun, dry heat, sweat on his forehead. He works with pliers, barbed wire, wooden posts. Honest work that he likes, work that keeps him busy, work that doesn't allow him to think too much about what happened on Saturday. His 1998 Ford F-150 is parked 20 meters back. Radio on, country music, a thermos with cold water in the cabin. At 3:47 p.m., he hears engines. He looks toward the dirt road connecting his ranch to the main highway. Yellow dust rises in the distance. Vehicles approaching. Augusto drops the pliers. He walks to his truck, takes out old binoculars from the seat. He focuses. 5 trucks, different from Saturday's. These are armored Chevrolet Suburbans, tinted windows, no visible plates, perfect military formation. They're not the same ones. They're others. Higher level. Augusto puts away the binoculars, takes out his cell phone, calls Don Facundo. Compadre, I have visitors again. 5 armored trucks.
Professionals. Do you need me to call someone? Not yet. Just stay alert.
If I don't call you in an hour, activate protocol.
Understood. Take care.
He hangs up, breathes deeply, feels the weight of his 68 years, the aching back, the knees that crack, the hands with early arthritis. He's not the 30-year-old soldier who could run 10 kilometers with full equipment. He's a tired old man who just wants to live in peace. But peace was never an easy option in Mexico. The 5 trucks stop in front of the fence Augusto was repairing. They form a semicircle, blocking escape. From the central suburban, a man steps out, different from all the operatives Augusto has seen in his life. He's 52 years old. He wears a gray Armani suit, Italian shoes, a Rolex watch, hair slicked back with gel, clean-shaven face, dark glasses. He looks like a successful businessman, not a common criminal.
12 men accompany him.
These aren't kids with tattoos and cheap rifles. They're professional operators. 35 to 45 years old. Identical tactical uniforms, AR-15s with telescopic sights, bulletproof vests, synchronized radios, coordinated movements. The man in the suit walks toward Augusto with calm steps. He smiles, extends his hand. General Villarreal, it's an honor to finally meet you. Augusto doesn't shake his hand, maintains a distance of 3 meters. Who are you?
My apologies.
My name is Rafael Menendez. I'm the Regional Operations Coordinator in Los Altos de Jalisco. I've come to apologize for Saturday's misunderstanding. There was no misunderstanding. There was an invasion of private property. Rafael nods with false understanding.
Exactly.
That's why I'm here. El Coyote acted without superior authorization.
He didn't investigate.
He didn't verify information. He made a serious mistake. He has already been removed from his position. Augusto studies the man. Controlled body language, polite voice, but cold, calculating eyes. This isn't an improvised operative. He's a brain, a strategist. What do you want, Mr. Menendez? I want to resolve this in a civilized manner. You are a respectable man. So am I. We can reach an agreement that benefits both parties. I already said on Saturday, there's no agreement. This ranch doesn't pay fees. Rafael removes his glasses. His eyes are dark brown, empty of empathy. General, I investigated your history. Impeccable military service. 37 years. 17 cells dismantled.
43 captures.
3 medals for valor. Honorable retirement in 2015. You bought the ranch with legal pension.
You live alone, no wife.
Adult children living in Guadalajara and Mexico City. 3 grandchildren who visit twice a year. Augusto feels a chill in his stomach. This man knows too much. He investigated, prepared, came with complete information. I also know, Rafael continues, that your security cameras don't work, that your military contacts are retired or in administrative positions, that Don Facundo, your neighbor, is a 72-year-old ex-military with heart problems, that you're alone, truly alone. Augusto maintains a neutral expression. He doesn't show fear, doesn't show surprise. Technique learned in interrogations. Never give information with your face. Rafael walks around Augusto in a slow circle. I admire your career, General. I really do. But we live in different realities now. You served a government that used you for decades and discarded you with a miserable pension. We build an empire that moves $500 million annually just in Jalisco.
We're not enemies.
We're businessmen operating outside obsolete law. You're criminals who destroy families. Rafael sighs like a patient father with a stubborn child. Relative morality, General. The government you worked for also destroys families. Poverty, corruption, impunity. We just use more direct methods. Did you come to give me a philosophy lesson, or do you have a specific point? Rafael stops in front of Augusto, takes out a manila envelope from his jacket, opens it. Inside are photographs. The first photo shows Roberto, Augusto's oldest son. 43 years old, civil engineer. Leaving his office in Guadalajara. Date in the corner, yesterday, Monday, September 16th. Second photo. Claudia, Augusto's daughter. 39 years old, high school teacher. Picking up her 2 children at elementary school. Date, also yesterday. Third photo. Augusto's 3 grandchildren. 8, 6 and 4 years old. Playing in a park. Augusto feels the world tilt. Hands clenched in fists, breathing controlled with effort. Touch my family, he says with a low, dangerous voice, and there will be no place in Mexico where you can hide. Raphael puts away the photos. I don't want to touch anyone, General. I want you to understand that this is non-negotiable. You pay or your family pays.
Simple. How much?
Saturday, El Coyote asked for 50,000. Saturday you hadn't threatened a cartel operator.
The price went up.
100,000 monthly. Augusto looks at his 45 hectares. Cattle grazing, adobe house, stables, everything built with honest work, everything he always wanted after decades of war. I don't have 100,000 pesos monthly. My pension is 18,000. I sell cattle for another 25,000.
Total, 43,000 a month.
If I pay you 100,000, I lose the ranch in 3 months.
Raphael smiles. Then sell.
There are interested buyers. We offer you 2 million for the 45 hectares.
Cash this week. You leave peacefully, no problems.
This ranch is worth 8 million minimum in the normal market. But you're not in the normal market. You're in a situation where 2 million is generosity. Augusto closes his eyes. 37 years serving his country, risking his life in operations nobody knows about, sacrificing family, health, peace of mind, to end up like this. Extorted by criminals on the piece of land he bought with his blood. What guarantee do I have that you'll respect the deal?
My word.
The word of a criminal is worth nothing. Raphael is genuinely offended.
General, I'm a businessman.
My word is my capital. If I break agreements, I lose credibility, I lose control. I didn't reach this position by being dishonest. The irony is so great that Augusto almost laughs. A trafficker talking about honesty. You have until Friday to decide, Raphael says. Sell for 2 million or pay 100,000 monthly. If you reject both options, your children receive a visit.
Not a threat. A promise.
Raphael walks toward his Suburban. His 12 operators follow. They get into the trucks.
Engines start.
Before leaving, Raphael lowers his window. One more thing, General. I respect your military service. I respect your courage. That's why I'm giving you an option. Others in my position would simply burn the ranch with you inside.
Think about it. The 5 trucks drive away. Yellow dust. Silence.
Augusto stands in the middle of his ranch. Alone, old, defeated. For the first time in 50 years, since he was a child on his father's ranch, Augusto Villarreal cries. That night Augusto doesn't sleep. He walks through his empty house. He touches the adobe walls he repaired with his hands. He looks at photographs of his grandchildren in the living room. He remembers every sacrifice he made to get here. At 4 in the morning, sitting in his rocking chair, he makes a decision. He's not going to sell. He's not going to pay. He's not going to surrender. But he's not going to fight either. Not the way they expect. He takes out an old notebook from his desk, searches through yellowed pages, finds what he needs.
A list of names.
Contacts from 37 years of military service. Some retired, others active. All men who owe him favors. First name, Colonel Hector Ruiz, commander of the Guadalajara military zone. They served together in Michoacán in 2006. Augusto saved his life in an ambush. Augusto dials the number at 6 in the morning. General Villarreal, Hector's voice sounds surprised. I haven't heard from you in 3 years.
Hector, I need a favor. Urgent.
He tells him everything. Saturday's invasion, Rafael Menendez's visit, the threats against his family, the photographs of his children and grandchildren. Hector listens in silence. When Augusto finishes, he sighs deeply. General, what you're asking is complicated. I can't mobilize troops to protect private property without a court order. Protocol changed since you retired. I'm not asking for troops. I'm asking for discreet surveillance on my children. 3 intelligence agents, weekly rotation, until this is resolved. That I can do. But how do you plan to resolve it?
I have a plan.
I need 72 hours.
Hector hesitates.
He's known Augusto for 25 years. He knows that when he says I have a plan, it usually means something dangerous, risky, probably illegal. Don't do anything crazy, General. I never do. Just military strategy applied.
They hang up.
Augusto dials a second number. Special prosecutor against organized crime in Jalisco, Carolina Mendoza. They worked together on 7 operations between 2010 and 2014. She built legal cases, he captured criminals.
Perfect team.
Carolina answers on the third ring.
Augusto, what a surprise.
How's retirement?
Complicated.
I need information about Rafael Menendez, regional coordinator. Why? He explains briefly. Carolina takes notes. Rafael Menendez has been a priority target since 2019. He coordinated 14 mass extortion operations, laundered $200 million, ordered 23 confirmed eliminations.
But he's untouchable.
He never leaves evidence. He never exposes himself. He uses intermediaries for everything. Except he came personally to my ranch yesterday. Silence on the other end.
Do you have proof? No.
I didn't record anything. Then it doesn't work for a legal case. What if I get proof?
A recorded confession?
With a recorded confession and corroborating evidence, I can have him arrested. But Augusto, these men don't confess. They're professionals. Everyone confesses if you apply the right pressure at the right point. Carolina knows Augusto is serious. She's seen his methods. Effective but legally questionable.
Be careful.
I can't protect you if you cross lines you shouldn't cross.
Understood. Third call. Don Facundo, his neighbor.
Compadre, I need to borrow your hunting rifle. The Winchester 70 you use for deer.
Are you going hunting?
Something like that. Facundo laughs nervously. Augusto, what are you planning to do? Remind these criminals who I was before I became a rancher. At 10 in the morning, Augusto drives his Ford F-150 to Tepatitlan. He parks in front of an internet cafe in the town center. He rents a computer for 1 hour. He opens an anonymous email account. He writes a message. Rafael Menendez. I accept. Meeting to negotiate sale of the ranch. Tomorrow, Thursday, September 19th. 8 p.m. at my property. Come alone or with maximum 2 men. If you bring an army, there's no deal. General Augusto Villarreal. He sends the message to the contact Rafael left on his business card. A card Augusto saved from the day before.
He leaves the cafe.
He buys 5 disposable cell phones at an electronics store. He buys adhesive tape, cable, AA batteries, 2 LED flashlights. He returns to the ranch. He spends the afternoon preparing. He reviews every inch of his property. He identifies strategic points, lines of sight, escape routes, defensive positions. Just like he did before every military operation. At 6 p.m., he receives a response on his email. He checks it on his cell phone.
I accept. Tomorrow, 8 p.m.
I'm coming with 1 man. I expect seriousness in negotiation.
RM. Augusto smiles. First part of the plan worked.
Rafael is coming with minimal escort.
Perfect.
That night Augusto cleans his Beretta 92.
He checks ammunition.
200 bullets.
Enough.
He also cleans the Winchester 70 that Facundo lent him. Bolt-action rifle, 30-06 caliber, 800-meter effective range.
Telescopic sight. Precision weapon.
He doesn't plan to use them. But 37 years of service taught him that Plan B must always exist. Thursday, September 19th. Augusto spends the day working normally. He feeds cattle, repairs fence, acts as if nothing special is going to happen. At 7 p.m., when the sun begins to set behind the mountains, he makes final calls.
He calls Roberto, his son. Dad, what a surprise.
Everything okay?
Yes, son.
I just wanted to hear your voice, tell you I love you, that I'm proud of the man you are. Roberto goes silent. His father never talks like this. Something's wrong. Dad, what's happening?
Nothing.
Just an old man's reflections. Take care of your sister. Take care of your children. I love you. He hangs up before Roberto can ask more.
He calls Claudia, his daughter.
Dad, it's strange that you're calling so often.
Are you sick? No, my daughter. I'm fine.
I just wanted to tell you that you're the best thing that ever happened to me, you and your brother. That everything I did for you. Dad, you're scaring me.
Don't be scared.
Just take care of yourself. Take care of your kids.
I love them. He hangs up.
He sits in his rocking chair.
He waits. At 8:03 p.m., he hears engines. 2 vehicles this time. A black Suburban, a gray Ram truck. They stop in front of the house. From the Suburban steps Rafael Menendez. Same gray suit, same Rolex, same false smile. He's accompanied by a single man. Personal guard.
40 years old, 190 centimeters tall, 110 kilograms of muscle. Face that has seen too much violence. Raphael walks toward the corridor. General, punctual like a soldier.
Sit down.
Augusto points to a wooden chair next to his rocking chair. Raphael sits. His guard remains standing 3 meters back, hand near the weapon under his jacket. You accept selling. Augusto takes out a manila envelope. Inside are documents. Ranch deeds, property titles.
All legal, all in order.
I need guarantees first. How do I know 2 million will be enough? That you won't come back asking for more? Raphael takes out a checkbook.
He writes the date. He signs.
He shows the check to Augusto. 2 million pesos exactly. This check is from a legal bank. Business account registered. Everything transparent.
Deposit tomorrow.
Money available in 48 hours. Augusto takes the check, studies it.
It looks legitimate.
And my family? Guarantee you won't touch them?
You have my word.
Once you sign, you don't exist to us. Neither does your family. Augusto nods slowly.
Appears to consider. There's a problem. Which one?
That your word is worth nothing. The atmosphere changes instantly. Raphael's guard takes a step forward, hand on weapon. Raphael raises his hand.
Calm signal.
General, we talked about this.
Don't be stubborn.
I'm not stubborn. I'm realistic.
You're a criminal.
Criminals lie. I need a real guarantee. What kind of guarantee? Augusto takes out his cell phone, presses a button. A red light blinks. Recording of everything we've talked about.
Of your threats on Tuesday.
Of your confession about criminal operations. Of this illegal check.
All documented.
If anything happens to my family, the recording goes to the prosecutor's office. Raphael stands up.
Face transformed.
No more businessman smile. Just cold rage.
Old fool.
You think a recording scares me? No, but it scares your bosses. They don't forgive operators who expose themselves stupidly. The guard pulls out a Glock 19, aims at Augusto. Raphael signals. The guard barely lowers the weapon. Give me that phone now.
No.
You don't know what happens to people who betray me. I know exactly what happens. That's why I took precautions. Augusto points toward the dark mountains around the ranch.
3 phones hidden.
3 different locations.
Each one recording.
Each one transmitting to a remote server. If I don't leave alive tonight, recordings automatically send to 15 contacts. Prosecutors, military, journalists. Your face, your voice, your threats. Everything. Raphael studies Augusto with new understanding. This old man isn't a scared rancher. He's a military strategist who prepared the perfect battlefield. This is war, General, isn't it?
This is peace. On my terms.
Raphael walks in circles, calculates options.
All bad.
If he eliminates Augusto, the recordings send. His face, his voice, his threats exposed. The organization would eliminate him for incompetence before justice catches him. If he lets Augusto live, he loses control of the region. Other merchants, other ranchers will refuse to pay. They'll imitate the general. The extortion system collapses.
What do you really want? Peace.
Nothing more, nothing less. You can't have peace living here. This is our territory. Augusto gets up from his rocking chair, walks to the edge of the corridor, points at his 45 hectares under moonlight. I bought this ranch with 37 years of sacrifice. With blood of fallen comrades. With time I didn't spend with my children. With a marriage I lost. A second-rate criminal with an expensive suit doesn't take it from me. Raphael clenches his jaw. Nobody talks to him like this.
Nobody. You have 2 options.
Augusto continues.
First, try to eliminate me.
Your guard shoots.
I die.
But recordings destroy your criminal career. Your bosses torture you for days before eliminating you. Your family gets marked. Everything you built, destroyed. Second option, you leave now.
Forever.
This ranch becomes a prohibited zone. I don't talk to authorities about this meeting. You never return.
Non-aggression pact. We both live.
Raphael's guard looks at his boss waiting for orders. Finger on trigger, ready to execute. Raphael takes out his cell phone, dials a number. Someone answers.
It's me. We have a problem. Pause.
General Villarreal has recorded evidence. 3 phones transmitting.
Longer pause. I understand. He hangs up.
He looks at Augusto with pure hatred. My boss says it's not worth it. That an insignificant ranch doesn't justify exposure. Your boss is smarter than you. Raphael puts away his checkbook, walks toward his Suburban. His guard follows without lowering the weapon.
Engines start.
Before getting in, Raphael points at Augusto. You won this battle, General. But the war continues. And eventually, everyone loses. You already lost. You just don't know it yet.
The two trucks drive away.
Red dust under taillights. Silence returns to the ranch. Augusto sits in his rocking chair. Hands trembling, adrenaline dropping, reality hitting him. He just faced a high-level operator.
He could have died. Should have died. But he didn't die.
He takes out his cell phone, calls Colonel Hector Ruiz.
Hector, it's over.
Rafael Menendez came. He left without violence. Do you have the recordings you mentioned? Augusto looks at his cell phone. There are no recordings. The 3 phones he hid are off. No battery, no transmission. Everything was a bluff. I have what I needed. He believed I had evidence. That was enough. Hector laughs with admiration and terror mixed. You're crazy, General. Completely crazy. 37 years of service teach you that war is 80% psychology.
They hang up.
Augusto calls Prosecutor Carolina Mendoza. Carolina, I need you to investigate bank transfers from a front company registered under Rafael Menendez's name. Server coordinates he used for communication. Check he tried to give me. It has a traceable account number. Do you have the check? I photographed it before returning it.
He sends the photo.
Carolina processes information. With this, I can initiate a formal investigation.
Follow the money.
Connect with other operations. Augusto, this could dismantle the entire regional financial structure.
That's the plan.
During the next 2 weeks, Augusto lives with discreet military surveillance. 3 intelligence agents rotate shifts. 2 watch his children in Guadalajara. 1 stays near the ranch. Carolina Mendoza builds a solid case. The check Rafael showed connects to 14 shell companies. She traces 200 million pesos laundered. She identifies 23 properties bought with illegal money. Enough for an arrest warrant.
3rd week of October. Coordinated operation.
Army, Prosecutor's Office, National Guard. 200 officers, 5 simultaneous locations. They capture Rafael Menendez at his house in Zapopan. No violence, no resistance. They catch him having breakfast with his wife and 12-year-old daughter. They seize 40 million in cash. 3 properties, 7 luxury vehicles, documents that compromise 12 other operators. National media covers the story. Financial cell dismantled in Jalisco. Regional coordinator captured, responsible for laundering 200 million. Nobody mentions that it all started with a retired general defending his ranch. Augusto watches the news on his old television. Rafael in handcuffs getting into a prosecutor's office truck.
Defeated face.
All the power, all the money, all the arrogance.
Gone.
Don Facundo arrives at the ranch that afternoon.
He brings a bottle of tequila.
Compadre, I saw the news. That was the guy who threatened you, right?
The same one.
How did you do it?
Augusto pours 2 shots. They toast.
I used what they taught me for 37 years.
Patience.
Strategy. Taking advantage of the enemy's overconfidence.
They drink. The tequila burns.
Tastes like victory, like justice, like peace earned with intelligence instead of violence.
November.
Augusto receives an unexpected visit. Roberto and Claudia, his 2 children, arrive at the ranch with the 3 grandchildren. Dad, Roberto says, hugging him tight. We found out what happened. The prosecutor's office called us. They protected us for weeks without telling us why. Then they explained everything. Claudia has tears in her eyes.
You could have died.
We could have lost our father defending this ranch. Augusto hugs his children, his grandchildren. Family reunited for the first time in 2 years. I didn't defend the ranch. I defended you. This place is just land. You are my life. They spend the whole weekend together. The grandchildren run among the cattle. Claudia cooks in the kitchen Augusto remodeled. Roberto repairs fence next to his father, recovering lost time. Sunday afternoon, before returning to the city, Roberto talks with Augusto privately. Dad, sell the ranch. Come live with us. You already proved your point. You won. But next time you might not be lucky. Augusto looks at his 45 hectares. Adobe house,
stables, cattle.
Everything he built with old hands and dreams of peace.
It wasn't luck, son. It was preparation. And I'm not selling.
I spent 37 years fighting so people like you could live safely. I'm not giving up now on my own land.
Roberto understands. He knows his father.
Stubborn, brave, impossible to break. Then visit us more often. The kids need you. I need you.
I will. I promise. They hug.
Long goodbye. Promise to return soon. December arrives with Jalisco's dry cold. Augusto celebrates his 69th birthday alone on his ranch. Small cake he bought at Tepatitlan's bakery. Hot coffee, rocking chair on the corridor. His cell phone rings.
Unknown number.
General Villarreal?
Yes, speaking.
Military Zone Commander. I have a message from the Secretary of Defense. They want to recognize your service. Ceremony in Mexico City.
January 15th. Will you accept? Augusto thinks.
Official recognition means exposure, photographs, interviews. Everything he avoided for 9 years. I appreciate the honor, but I prefer my peace here. I understand, General. But there's something else. Rafael Menendez's capture generated a domino effect. 47 more operators fell. 3 complete cells dismantled. They recovered 300 million. They freed 12 extortion routes. All because of your courage not to give in. Augusto feels a weight in his chest. Pride mixed with sadness. After 9 years retired, he's still fighting a war that never ends. I only defended my land. And in defending it, you defended hundreds. That's service, General. Retired or active, you're still a soldier.
They hang up.
Augusto finishes his coffee. He looks at the stars above the mountains. He thinks about the 40 operatives who invaded his ranch in September. He thinks about Rafael Menendez threatening his family. He thinks about all the times he could have died, all the times he chose to fight instead of flee. He doesn't regret anything. New Year arrives quietly. Distant fireworks in Tepatitlan. Augusto celebrates alone with his cattle, his dogs, his land. At 11:59 p.m., he raises a shot of tequila.
For those who fell. For those still fighting.
For the peace we all deserve but few achieve.
He drinks. New Year begins.
Somewhere in Mexico, another rancher receives a visit from operatives demanding fees. But this time, remembering General Villarreal's story, he says no. He refuses to give in. He calls authorities. He fights for what's his. The resistance multiplies. Merchants, ranchers, common people tired of fear. It's not a violent revolution. It's silent resistance. One at a time. Family by family. Ranch by ranch. And it all started with a 68-year-old man in a rocking chair, defending 45 hectares of honest land. Augusto Villarreal will never be a national hero. His name won't appear in history books. But in Los Altos de Jalisco, in scattered ranches, in town bars, his story is told. The story of a retired general who didn't give up. Who used his brain instead of bullets. Who proved that true courage isn't the absence of fear, but the decision to defend what's right despite fear. February 2025. Augusto receives a letter. Sender, Special Prosecutor's Office Against Organized Crime. Inside is a note from Carolina Mendoza and a photograph. The photo shows 23 people. Men, women, children. Complete families. On the back it says, merchants and ranchers from Los Altos who refuse to pay fees after hearing your story. Thank you for teaching us that resisting is possible. With respect, Carolina. Augusto places the photo in the display case next to his military medals. It's not an official decoration, but it's worth more than all the others. Because those 23 families live free. Their businesses work. Their children grow up without fear. That's real victory. Not a statistic, not an operation. Life defended. Dignity preserved. Augusto goes out to his corridor. Sun warming Jalisco's land. Cattle grazing peacefully. Peace he built with 37 years of war and 9 years of silent resistance. He sits in his rocking chair. Takes coffee. Listens to the radio with country music. And smiles. Because in the end, after everything, he got exactly what he wanted. Peace on his land. On his terms. And nobody, absolutely nobody, is going to take it from him. If this story inspired you, you need to subscribe right now. There are more incredible true stories like this one coming. Hit that like button if you believe in justice and real courage. And tell us in the comments where you're watching from, What country, what city? Share this video with someone who needs to hear this message. Because stories like Augusto's remind us that one person can make a difference. That standing up for what's right still matters. That courage isn't about being fearless, it's about doing what must be done despite the fear. Subscribe now, and I'll see you in the next story.